Hello, my fishing friends, and happy anniversary to me. Yes, it was 1 year ago this week that we launched a YouTube channel, Sands in the Surf, the premier fishing channel for fishing on Oak Island. So, for the three of you that watch, thank you, appreciate it. Hey, we're going to do it again. We're going out there today. 1 year ago, we went out just pursuing puffer and fishing for some whiting, and we're going to go do it again right now. Plus, we're going to take a stop by the new Oak Island Sporting Goods shop. Well, it's not new, but they moved. It's pretty cool. So, you ready? Let's go. All right, our first stop on anniversary week is 64th Street. It is the new Oak Island Sporting Goods shop. Well, technically it's not new. The sporting goods shop has been on the island for a while on the east end over by the hardware store, but now they've moved to this new location on 64th Street. It's right in the middle of the island near the Food Lion. And here's Chef Kim and I walking in to get our first impression. Nice big space. Not cramped or anything, everything's spread out, and plenty of equipment. I got to meet Josh. I shook his hand, which is cool because coronavirus and all, but he had some of the antiseptic stuff on the counter, so I wasn't too worried about it. And I just went right to work shopping. I was like, I'm going to get myself some hooks, which I'm fairly picky about, but I finally says like, let me get these laser 1/0 hooks. I'm going to make my own rig, so I figured I'd pick myself up some line, and they had a nice selection of line, which I just got some 25-pound test line, which I'll show you later in the video why I needed it, because I was making my own rigs and I broke a couple. So and so I was there. I was like, yeah, maybe I'll pick up a couple of tourist rigs. If I'm just fishing for a whiting or puffer, I don't need to make my own rigs and lose them. And I also lost the weights, so I had to stop and pick up some weights. The waves have been pretty rough this week, so I picked up some 4-ounce weights here. But look at this cool roundy thing with all the weights in it. Next, I went and I looked at the bait, and they have a nice selection of bait, including bloodworms, which I dig, even though they're really expensive. But I was like, I'm going to treat myself. It's my anniversary. But they had plenty of other bait in there. And also, check this out. They're going to have live bait in that well right there. They're going to start off with mud minnows, and then they're going to hopefully add shrimp later on if everything takes off with that. So, I mean, great. It was just around the store. I bought a bunch of stuff, and then I hit the surf. All right, I'm going to start by just saying I went down to my favorite spot, 10th Street. Here's a little tip. Putting in a sand spike. If the sand is wet, you can just take your hand and kind of circle it, make little circle motions, and it'll go in the sand fairly well. This is 10th Street, like I said, and I picked this spot because I always fish 10th Street, but also because look at this. I don't know what it is. It's like a little cut that's coming up, and the water was getting to be low tide, but the water had pooled up in that area, and it was just coming down through there. And I'm like, anything that's on this beach, little pieces of whatever, is going to be rushing. Look at the water, just rushing back into the ocean right there. And there's got to be some fish just right outside of that, waiting for the bait to come. And I'll tell you what, I was pretty right, because the first cast out, I hadn't even had the other line in the water yet, and I had a whiting on the line. So just using some frozen shrimp at this point. I didn't get into my good bait, my bloodworms, yet. I just had some frozen shrimp left over, so I was like, I'm just going to put that on, see what we can get. And pretty much every cast, throwing it out there, I was pulling it in a whiting. As soon as it hit the water, I mean, they were really aggressive, which was great. Now, none of them were really large. I guess they're probably between the ones I'm catching here between 8 and 12 inches. And along with them, I've got a lot of seaweed. From all the winds, the waves are chopping up, and you just get this seaweed. Same thing happened last year. I did a video about that. They don't tell you in the brochure about the seaweed. They don't tell you about the no-see-ums that come out this time of year. But if you can get past the seaweed and the no-see-ums, you can get some whiting. Now, I'm letting these guys go. They're small, but I'm going to catch a couple of big ones later that I might hold on to. Now, here's the seaweed. Look how obnoxious this is. It's just like on your line as soon as you get it out there. And again, the current was pretty strong because of the wind, so I had only like 2-ounce weights. So I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to double it up. I'm going to put 2 on there. This is my ingenuity. Look at this genius that I am, right? The genius of Sands in the Surf. I'll put 2 weights on because that's clever. And then I casted that out, and it broke right off. So much for my genius. That was a bad idea. And now you know I was buying weights when I was in the sporting goods shop. All right, so then we just kept fishing. Um, you know, again, getting some just whiting. I was actually hoping for some puffer. Now, this is funny. If you look on the lens, there's a water droplet, and I do get comments from people that always tell me, "You need to wipe your lens. You need to wipe your lens." No, what I need to do is take off the seaweed. The funny thing about the seaweed is, you think the water droplet's bad. Wait 2 seconds till you see this next video. I didn't realize this happened, but I mean, just the waves are going to splash up, right? So you're going to get water droplets on your camera. It just happens. But I wasn't expecting to get the seaweed on my camera, which is what happened. And then, so that's why this will, you'll see a couple more fish getting caught and getting released, but you're going to have to deal with the seaweed on the lens. I didn't know it until I got home, and I was like, oh my gosh, there's seaweed on my lens. I wonder when that happened. I wonder if this whole video is just going to be seaweed. Anyway, get out there, get fishing. There's fish are biting, and stop by the sporting goods shop. Check it out.